is living alone. After 65, a lonely misstep or a quiet triumph. As we age, society often tells us that solitude equals sadness, that after 65, living alone is risky, isolating, or even a sign of failure. But the truth? Choosing to live alone between the ages of 65 and 80 can be one of the most liberating and life-affirming decisions you'll ever make. This isn't about closing the door on people, it's about opening a door to yourself. A space where your needs come first, your habits shape the day, and your peace becomes non-negotiable. While some fear that solo living brings vulnerability, many older adults find the opposite. A new wave of confidence, clarity, and calm. It becomes a season of expansion, not retreat. A time to reconnect with the parts of themselves long overshadowed by years of responsibility, compromise, and noise. Living alone doesn't mean being disconnected. It means being deliberate. In this video, we're diving into 6 rarely discussed reasons why living alone in your late 60s, 70s, or even 80s can be not just a smart decision, but a deeply fulfilling one. If you've ever wondered whether independence still belongs to you, or if you've been told that solitude and sadness walk hand in hand, this is your moment to reconsider. What you discover here may just shift your perspective in the most uplifting way. Let's begin. Reason number 1. Rediscovering your autonomy. At every age, the freedom to make your own choices is essential. Whether it's deciding what to eat, when to wake, or which music fills the morning, autonomy brings a quiet kind of joy. When you live alone, every decision is yours. No compromises, no explanations, no adjusting the thermostat to suit someone else or rearranging your dinner plans around others' schedules. To some, these choices may seem minor, but for many older adults, this is the first time in decades they've been able to fully honor their own preferences, without guilt, without interruption. Autonomy doesn't mean rejecting help. It means holding on to dignity. When you live with others, especially adult children or caregivers, support can slowly turn into subtle control. Routines shift, priorities blur, and before long, your day starts to feel like someone else's. Over time, even well-meaning help can chip away at your sense of self. Take Norma, for example. At 74, she moved in with her son after a hip surgery. She was grateful for the love and support. But quietly, her identity began to shrink. Her music stayed silent because her grandson found it too loud. Her meals followed the family's rhythm. And one evening, she realized she hadn't chosen her own bedtime in weeks. Once healed, Norma returned to her apartment, and something inside her reignited. She stood taller, laughed more, played those old records again, loud and proud. It wasn't just about space, it was about reclaiming choice. Living alone offers that gift, a reminder that you're not just growing older, you're still becoming, still choosing, still living life on your terms. And with that kind of freedom comes self-respect. And self-respect? That's where real strength begins, at any age. Number 2. A more peaceful environment. There's a quiet that only comes when you're alone in your own space. Not the kind of silence that feels empty, but the kind that feels clean, gentle, undisturbed. When you live alone, you get to shape that quiet. You control the volume of your day, the sounds you let in and the ones you leave out. There's no television blaring from the next room. No hallway footsteps waking you at 5 a.m., no phone conversations bleeding through thin walls, just the rhythm of your own breath, the creak of your favorite chair, and the stillness that so many people spend their whole lives searching for. That kind of environment does something to your nervous system. It calms it. It soothes the edges of anxiety. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone responsible for everything from high blood pressure to shallow sleep. When you live with others, especially if they're rushed, loud, or emotionally intense, you absorb that energy, whether you realize it or not. You carry their chaos, their moods, their mess. And, before long, You forget what it felt like to be still in your own skin. Let's talk about Gloria, a 70-year-old retired teacher who spent 5 years sharing her home with her adult daughter and 2 young grandchildren. She loved them deeply, but every day brought motion, noise, interruption. There was always a request, a spill, a question needing her attention. By the end of the day, Gloria felt wrung out. After her daughter moved into her own place, Gloria didn't just get her space back. She got her nervous system back. Her sleep improved, her digestion calmed. She even said her memory felt sharper, not because of medication, but because her body finally had the chance to rest. There's something healing about having no one to please first thing in the morning. No conversations you didn't initiate. No pressure to perform, respond, or smile when you're not ready. Just you, in a space that listens more than it talks. For many seniors, that's not loneliness. That's peace. And peace, once you feel it, becomes something you never want to trade again. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Reason number 3. The freedom to design your day. There's something quietly beautiful about living on your own time, waking naturally, eating when your stomach, not the clock, calls, and flowing through your day without needing to sync up with anyone else's routine. When you live alone, you reclaim that flow. Your life becomes yours again, shaped by your energy, your needs, and your comfort. That kind of freedom isn't just convenient, it's deeply nourishing. Too often, older adults end up molding their schedules around others. Maybe it's a family member's agenda, a caregiver's routine, or an unspoken pressure to always be available. Slowly, the day stops belonging to you. You may not even realize what you're losing until it's gone. Favorite rituals fade. Meals feel rushed. Rest gets interrupted. Over time, it's like your inner world starts to dim, as if you've moved a little further from the sun. Take Carl, a 77-year-old who temporarily moved in with his nephew after a health scare. At first, the arrangement felt supportive, full of care and companionship. But before long, his mornings disappeared into the family's daily rush. His slow breakfasts were replaced with quick bites. The house was always buzzing. He missed his quiet moments, the crossword, the calm. Eventually, Carl returned to his own apartment. And almost instantly, something shifted. His spark came back. He began painting again. He slept better. He smiled more. All because his time became his own. Living alone isn't about isolation. It's about realignment. You move with intention. You respond to your body's rhythms. You protect your peace. And that kind of intentional living? It doesn't just feel good, it feels like home. Reason number 4. Quiet strength and renewed confidence. There's a deep, steady confidence that grows when you realize, I've got this. Living alone in your later years isn't just about space or solitude. It's about strength, the kind that reveals itself in ordinary moments. Paying bills, managing repairs, setting your own appointments, locking your door at night. Each of those simple acts whispers a powerful truth. You're still capable. Many people worry that independence gets harder with age. That being on your own means taking on too much. But the truth, doing life on your own terms, with care and mindfulness, can reignite a kind of trust in yourself that may have dimmed over time. You start to believe in your ability again. You stop waiting for someone to step in. You begin to lead your own life with quiet authority. Let me share Bernice's story. She was 81 when her sister, her lifelong housemate, passed away. Everyone assumed she'd move in with relatives. But she chose something different. She stayed right where she was. In the beginning, she felt unsure. Could she really do this alone? But little by little, she did. She balanced the budget. She figured out how to fix a leaky sink. She started going for solo walks. And one day, after driving herself to a doctor's appointment she'd scheduled on her own, she smiled and said, "I didn't know I could still do all this." That moment changed everything. It wasn't just about getting things done, it was about rediscovering who she'd always been. Living alone gives you those moments. Moments of triumph that don't shout, but whisper. Moments that bridge the past and the present, and remind you that aging isn't about disappearing. It's about unfolding. And the more you handle on your own, the more you believe in your own resilience. That belief becomes your emotional backbone. It helps you stand taller when life feels uncertain. It reminds you that while the world may change, your strength remains. If this message is resonating with you, drop a number 4 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to do that and tap the bell, so you never miss new content created just for you. Now, let's keep going. Number 5. Fewer social conflicts and emotional friction. One of the most overlooked benefits of living alone in your later years is the peace that comes from fewer daily conflicts. You're not navigating passive-aggressive remarks. You're not absorbing someone else's bad mood. You're not compromising on how loud the TV is or biting your tongue at the dinner table. That may sound minor, but emotional friction, especially when it's constant, drains your energy. It chips away at your sense of ease, and over time it can quietly steal the joy from your days without you even realizing it. When you live with others, even those you love, there's always the potential for tension. It could be a difference in habits, in beliefs, in how you like your space to feel, and while those differences might seem manageable, the constant need to adjust, explain, or defend your preferences wears you down. Eventually, you start shrinking yourself to keep the peace. You stop saying what you think. You walk on eggshells. You edit your joy. And that quiet pressure adds up. Let's talk about Leonard, a 79-year-old who moved in with his daughter after a minor fall. She meant well, she wanted to protect him. But soon, every choice became a debate. Whether he could drive, whether he could eat what he wanted, whether he was allowed to work in the garden. After a year, Leonard asked to move into a small senior apartment complex, not because he didn't love his family, but because he missed his voice. Within a few weeks, his posture improved. His laughter came back. He said it felt like his home was finally his again. Living alone doesn't mean cutting people out. It means choosing when and how to connect. It means maintaining your emotional boundaries. It means making room for peaceful relationships, not ones forced by proximity. And when you do spend time with others, friends, children, neighbors, it comes from a place of fullness, not fatigue. That kind of clarity doesn't just help you feel better, it helps you love better. And that might be the greatest gift of all. Reason number 6, rediscovering yourself through stillness. There's a kind of wisdom that only arrives in quiet moments. When you live alone, especially in your later years, life slows just enough for something deeper to emerge. Not just the absence of noise, but the presence of clarity. Without the background hum of others' voices, needs, and routines, you begin to hear something else, yourself. You start to notice what you enjoy again, not because it fits someone else's plans, but because it speaks to you. You remember old dreams, long-forgotten hobbies, and the simple joys that once lit you up from the inside. You begin asking questions that matter, not out of regret, but from curiosity. Who am I now? What do I want this next chapter to feel like? And those aren't signs of loss, they're signs of growth. Solitude becomes a mirror, a space where your thoughts settle, your heart softens, and your spirit stretches out after years of being folded around others. Maybe that looks like journaling or prayer. Maybe it's painting, gardening, or simply sitting with a warm drink, watching the afternoon light shift across the wall. Let me tell you about Harold. He was 84 when he found himself alone for the first time, his wife gone, his children living far away. Everyone encouraged him to stay busy, to fill the silence. But Harold did something unexpected. He paused. He stayed with the stillness. At first, it felt strange. Then something beautiful happened. He began writing, then recording memories. Eventually, he said, "I used to fear being alone, but now, in the quiet, I finally met myself." That's the kind of self-connection solitude makes possible. Living alone isn't about being cut off. It's about tuning in. Tuning in to what matters to you, to how you think, how you feel, and how you want to live going forward. It's not an absence, it's an awakening. And through that awakening comes not just peace, but purpose. A reminder that growing older doesn't mean fading away. It means unfolding into your truest self. If you're still watching, drop a number 6 in the comments. I'd love to know you're here. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss new content made to uplift and inform. Final thoughts. The quiet power of choosing yourself. Living alone after 65 often gets misunderstood. People assume it means isolation or struggle, like it's a fallback plan instead of a meaningful choice. But for so many, it's the opposite. It's not about retreating from life. It's about stepping back into your own. It's about creating a home that reflects you, your energy, your timing, your tastes. It's about knowing that your needs don't need to be explained or compromised. It's about reclaiming your rhythm and the right to rest, reflect, and rediscover what brings you peace. This chapter is yours, and it's hard-earned. Every wrinkle tells a story. Every scar carries wisdom. Every boundary you've set has shaped the strong, seasoned person you are today. Living alone gives you space to honor all of that. To breathe deeply, to think clearly, to feel fully, without interruption or apology. It's a return to the most important relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. And once you reconnect with that version of you, the one who's been waiting beneath all the noise, you realize you were never really alone. You were simply coming home. So, if you're wondering whether this way of living is right for you, don't let fear or anyone else decide for you. Ask yourself, how does your heart feel when everything is still? What rises to the surface when the day is fully yours? What does your soul crave when no one else is watching? The answers might come softly, but they'll be honest, and they'll be yours. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If something in this video touched you, please leave a comment below and share what stood out and how you might carry it forward in your life. Your voice matters, your insight inspires others, and your presence here means the world. If this video brought you value, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it too. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next one.